Hello, welcome back to another Tech Talk. This one's an exciting episode because we're going to flick back to past me from 3 years ago to kick things off. Let's get into it.
If you ever walked through the paint section of any hardware store, there's a good chance you've seen one of these DIY epoxy kits. These products are a cheap, all-in-one kit that claims to offer an easy-to-install and long-lasting epoxy floor. So today, we decided to put it to the test and see how it compares to our epoxy kits. First of all, let's discuss what you get straight out of the box. As you can see in front of me, this is everything the hardware kit provides you for a 40 square meter double garage. But in contrast, this is what you get in our double garage kits. In our system, we supply 3 boxes of 4.5 kilograms worth of flake. And this is all you get in the hardware kit. Okay, but let's say size doesn't matter. Instead, we should compare the quality of the final products. To achieve this today, we'll be making up a sample board of each system, using only what the individual kits provide. Through this, we hope to see what the differences are in the quality of both the products and the installation processes. So one of these over here, one of these over here, next to where we're gonna mix. Okay, well we don't need this because we're not waiting 3 years for it to dry. Should be porous enough, one can hope. Flake, got to keep that around. Part B, part A, alright. And do not power mix with an electric drill. That's gonna be a long 3 to 5 minutes. How the hell is this thing meant to work? Someone wanna... The can opener isn't actually made to open the cans. One would assume it would be, but hey. It's gonna take about 12 minutes to open this thing. Oh! I got it! It's like vacuum sealed. Sounds awful. Well, it doesn't say you need a mask, so. Oh. I get to use the powder mixer they provided after I dispose of the opening tools to mix each part.
So fun.
I don't understand why part B needs mixing, but anyway. As per the instructions, I only wanted like 100 mil, but we're not allowed to do that. The instructions say all 8 liters have to be mixed, no matter the size you're doing. So all 8 liters get to be mixed. I wonder if you scrape it out. Doesn't say to, so. Pour it in, hope for the best, and I'm a messy bugger. Anyway, puppy! Alright. You want to start a timer for 5 minutes? Imagine if you're allowed to use an electric mixer, but no, the instructions state in big bold red words, do not use a power drill. Now we set an alarm for 30 minutes and wait around. We encourage not to induce an induction time unless in like freezing weather. but like you gotta wait at least 20 minutes in 35-degree weather with this product, which is just, oh, all right. Half hour seems to have worked. But you see what I mean by color separation, don't you? I will just confirm the mixing instructions. Oh, this is where it warned you. After the mixing step, put a mask on. Okay. Induction time, after mixing part A, part B, leave stand for the appropriate mixing time or induction time. We did that, half hour. Right, on the cue. Oh, yep. This is the best part, this is the part I love. You do it, you don't do whole floors, so you don't do the 36 or 40 squares. You do it in 1 square meter sections, throw your flake, and then you go do the next 1 square meter section. Throw your next bit of flake, and you keep doing that. I can't believe we had to make all this up because it said in big, bright red and bold letters, do not mix less than a full kit. Like, it's just excessive. Like, what if my garage was only 20 squares? Then what? Alright. Single coat, apparently. With it being less than, alright. Come on, get that edge. That's thick. Do we call that done? Do I add more? It's very howdy-doody. It's like, got all these warnings of what not to do and what to do, but like, doesn't actually tell you how to apply the floor other than do it in 1 square meter sections. It's terrible. I'm gonna call that, just look at it. The color separation. In the puddle. Ooh. 4 to 5 squares, which on a board is about 40 mil. Gonna have to tell what 40 mil is when it's so thick. The detailed instructions give no instructions on how to throw flake. Especially crumbed flake, which is falling apart. Anyway, let me just... If I lose any of this, I can't do a double garage. Alright, so I was about, it was like 5 grams for this whole board. Which is going to be like 1%, which is a bit bigger than that. So we just do like 4 of these. Sound about right? Oh my gosh, it's so clumpy. Huh. I think I'm putting too much on, to be honest. Oh no, the clump, oh no. That's it. That's we just let it cure. The flakes are just loose, sitting on top. There's no scraping, no nothing. That's just it. This would sound great if it wasn't for the fact that this is a terrible product. The only instructions you get is apply in a 1 by 1 meter sections, maintaining a wet edge to prevent lap marks. Distribute decorative flakes evenly over each wet, freshly coated section. That's the whole thing. There is a 2-page documentation on this. That is all you get. There is more to cleaning and mixing the etch than there is even applying and mixing the product. Such a mess. Oh, that's funky, isn't it? It's like embedded in it. I mean, if it works. Like, look at it. It's like sunken in and then. Track something heavy and it just all comes off. And yeah, as you can see, ours sorta went, well, this one went into the board. It's all patchy. This one along the edges soaked in, but this one had a lot more on it, so yeah. That's only a third. Anyway, I still find that crazy. A tiny bag that's like split into 4 pails. How? Alright. Just gonna open it up. As it's mixed yesterday, it doesn't need to be mixed again today. Great thing about our product is it has a shelf life of about a week after it's been mixed. I'll try not to overshoot it this time. Oh, overshot it. Now, harden. Just going up to the other 3 to 1, so using this mark. Overshot it. Should be alright. It'll work. Might just cure a little quicker. Alright. Thinners going up to the 20. And we're done. Looks even, looks homogeneous. That's it. Chuck her on the board. Generally you do about the same amount for each, but sometimes the prime coat takes a bit more and then the base coat just sort of sits on top, so it takes a little less. It just depends on the porosity of the concrete. The general idea is about 5 squares for the prime coat, 6 for the base coat. So flaking, easy to take your gloves off, as they tend to stick to the rubber a bit more than your hands do, and it's a big handful. It's about 200 grams for these boards, which is a decent handful. With how much flake is getting put on, it's almost like another layer to the epoxy, so that's why we call it a 5-coat system rather than just a 4-coat. It offers just a bit more protection, a bit more elasticity to the floor, allowing it to just get a bit more longevity out of it than just a plain coat or sparse coat. And as you can see, I'm virtually plastering this board. Oops. Trying to drop bits and clumps, although with this it's not as big as a deal as a sparse floor, whereas this you can't really see them, but that's why you don't flake while you're coating, because you get little lumps like that, so you'll pick up all your loose flakes from your previous square. So like the last system, it's getting into a meter square area and then flaking that and then doing the next meter square. Doing that, you risk getting pimples and lumps. Alright, done. Now we just leave it till tomorrow. Alright, first step is just to scrape off the excess flake. I've already swept these just to make sure the area doesn't get too dirty, but it's not a whole lot of excess flake. And this is just knocking down all the sharp ridges and yeah, getting it ready. If you do the hardware kit too wrong, you can get the spiky bits and it just doesn't look great either way. Whereas this, it'll have texture about it, but because we're putting 2 top coats over it, it'll be a lot more smoother, but still have grip to it. Oh yeah. It's like popcorn. Now you can't do this on the floor, but you usually do have a vacuum, so. Look at that. Huzzah. And the magic is tetraethane. With our single pack polyurethane, there is no thinking involved. It's just pour on and spread. Easy as one, and that's it. Just one. I think I actually poured like the perfect amount on the board. I'm kind of impressed by myself, to be honest.
And that's it?
Yep, done. It's not shiny. It's reflective, but it's not shiny. And there's like divots and whatnot all through it. That isn't just a flake. Yeah, I noticed on this one, which is closer to how it should be done. It's like ripply and gross. I can probably guarantee that's from it soaking into the base coat, or to the substrate. So the plan was to cover up half of them and chuck them outside. But I didn't want to put the sticky tape straight onto the board, as I want, you know, I don't want the adhesive to change colour of it, so I'm chucking another board between the tape and the epoxy to hopefully not discolour it. Well, it's going to have water sitting on it 24/7 because they soak up water, but it's better than chemical adhesives. Come on. No. I am an independent man. Reckon that's all that's needed?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ours done. With its 2 coats of sunscreen. And this is theirs. I think they give it quite a cool tone blue for a reason, so you don't see the yellowing instantly. It'll look good for a week or so, and then it'll just go downhill, because that's usually what cool tones do with yellow. That's on there pretty good.
So it's now 3 years later. Let's take a look at how these tiles have held up. These tiles here are APC tiles, and these are hardware kit tiles that we did. Though it has been 3 years, these particular tiles have only been outside for 10 months of that time. So 3 years later, as you can see on the APC kit, it While it looks dirty, it doesn't look all that bad. It just needs a bit of cleaning. However, on the hardware kit, you can see that it's chalked off and will need either strong cleaning chemicals or in fact, it'll never be cleaned fully. Is it salvageable? Yes and no. You can clean it, you can make it look back to somewhat what it used to, but you'll never be able to get it back to shiny. And that's just due to the UV degradation of epoxy. Whereas the APC kit is fully salvageable and you can get back to the original luster as when you first put it down. The reason why APC kit is salvageable is because it has a strong UV coat which is protecting everything underneath it. While the hardware kit doesn't have this UV coat, allowing UV degradation of the epoxy. So these two tiles over here, on the other hand, so these tiles have never been outside and have just been inside, just as a reference point. As you can see on the APC tile, you've got a nice shiny luster to it, which will last forever as long as you keep it clean. Whereas on the hardware kit, you can see the patchiness of the flakes, as well as an orange peel effect that you get with the epoxy. The orange peel looks like waviness and can even look like matting of the surface. And it just shows low qualityness, low quality. Just screams low quality, eh? So on all four of these boards, we have this top section covered by another board, and that's protected from any UV light that may get to it. And that's just so we can see side by side what the difference is between a board that's seen UV light and the part that hasn't seen UV light. So let's cut those away and have a look at the differences. I mean, these are good. Minty fresh. Nice slather of salmon. Your salmon, sir. How's that? For the boards that never saw sunlight, there's not much of a difference. However, with the boards that did see sunlight, we can see there's obviously dirt here and the obvious group of dirt there. However, the top side is perfectly clean. When we look at the other board, you can actually see there's a slight color difference between the two. This one seems to be a little bit more yellow than the side that didn't see the sunlight, even though there is dirt as well. So let's give them a quick clean and see what they look like. So I've just got our branded APC handy wipes here. We're just gonna give it a quick clean down, just get rid of all the dirt and see what it looks like. So generally, with this sort of soiling and 10 months of dirt buildup, you'll wanna use either a hose and a broom or a little bit of detergent just to get it looking properly clean. Fortunately, it's a little hard to use a broom on a board. I mean, the point is that you can't see an obvious line. It's pretty much, if you're looking at just color, the color is the exact same, other than where there's a bit of dirt from where I can't get down into the flake. But that's easy enough to get once you have a broom and a little bit of water, which sometimes you have to do, especially when it hasn't been cleaned for 10 months and then sat down for 3 years to dry out and cake. Have the hardware kit. I have a feeling these flakes are a different color. Oh, they 100% are. Interesting. Now that's something I wasn't expecting. The flakes have changed color. I didn't think flakes were UV unstable. Doesn't clean this. Yeah, the flakes have just changed color as well. Even if I really scrub them, they're a different color to the ones up here and even over on this board. Yeah, even the ones on the clean side are a slightly different color to those ones. Weird. So as you can see, very clear line up here, as well as just a light shadowing of yellowness. That's only 10 months out in the sun. And you can also see that the flakes themselves, even after scrubbing and trying to clean them, they've changed color because they've been stained from dirt and anything that's landed on them in that 10 months in the sun. Whereas if you look at the APC board, there's almost no difference between what hasn't been done, like what sat out in the UV light, compared to what was covered. With the only real difference being that there's still a little bit of dirt trapped underneath some of the flakes, which is easy enough to clean out with a bit of water and a broom. So as it's starting to dry off, you can see the part that's been exposed to sunlight has degraded and it's starting to matte and chalk as it's drying off from the water that I used to clean it, compared to the old board that's quite shiny. Even the board that was covered is slightly matter than the board that never saw sunlight. It just shows how low quality the resin used is. So both of these boards are made at the exact same time, with this board being the only one that saw UV light, and this board being kept inside just as a reference point for this test essentially. Now with the APC one, you can see that there's a slight change in the bottom section, but up near the top surface, it's almost the same as this one, just with a little bit of dirt still being there. As for the color, it is almost identical between the two boards. None of the flakes have degraded in color and none of the base coat has changed color or yellowed. So, in conclusion, you can see that there's a big difference between a hardware kit and APC's kits. You can see with the hardware kit that there's 3 different changes, even though this side should have been the exact same as the new board. You can see the orange peel, the matting, the change in color. It just all screams low quality. Whereas the APC kit, while there's a little bit of dirt down here, it's all cleanable and it's all pretty much the exact same color as the day we put it down, just showing how high quality our resin and our systems are. So what's the takeaway here? If you're okay with your floors being yellow and chalky, then buy a hardware kit. But be warned, after 12 months time, you'll probably be reaching out to us to get one of our kits. And as for the yellowing and chalkiness, why settle for that when it's preventable with a proper top coat? After 3 years of testing, the difference couldn't be clearer. Did you know that? Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the subscribe button, comment below, and even hit the like button. I don't know, I said hit before, but you know. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!